What's up, guys? Welcome back. So I thought I will create more fun videos, but clearly I have been way too serious in the previous ones. And so in this one, I would love to be a little more straightforward. We'll talk about energy because you guys have been loving the energy videos from what I understand. Because more energy is always better, right? And so I would love to use my notes this time because I refuse to use a teleprompter and be very concise. And so I'll use my notes in order to help you grow your energy. Okay, this is my promise for this video, to help you grow your energy if you implement what we talk about. Ready? Let's go. So growing your energy is a very interesting endeavor because you will often judge it, right? So if you're somebody who kind of sits in bed and lies on the couch 24/7, then you wonder why your energy is low, then it is because you're lying on the bed and sitting on the couch all day long, right? So let's talk a little bit about it, because we're not really trying to have an expectation of, oh, I want to jump out of bed in the morning. There's this fun image, I think, that people believe there is. You just jump out of bed in the morning. Haha, do you feel like, oh my God, I'm so full of energy just because I had this dream that I am Superman? That is a very unrealistic expectation, my friends. What is much more likely is that your body will be very dehydrated because you haven't had any water all night. And because of that, there's a good chance that you may even feel, well, refreshed on the mind side, but that your body feels a little lethargic. And so if you wake up and you're not super ready to jump out of bed, but you need just a little moment, then that is completely normal. Yeah. Also, your body usually needs a moment to warm up, right? Your body temperature needs to rise for a second. So oftentimes there is this little time in the morning where, you know, you just need like a little bit to warm up, just like a computer needs a moment to kind of, boot, reboot, boot is boot. Is it boot? Oh my God. So what does the computer need to do? Please write in the comments. I totally need to remember what the word here was. So let's talk about how we can then grow it, right? So if you remove the expectation of I need to get up early in the morning, and when I get up early in the morning I have to be perfect and in perfect shape, then let's let that be for a moment. But let's say, okay, you wake up and then you can tune into how do you create more energy in your day. How do you do that? And so I'll take my notes here to share with you distinction number one that will be important for this very moment. Distinction number one is the awareness of your body. Yes, and so it's not an exact distinction because clearly there's no other thing to distinct it from. However, when we think about energy, we often kind of think it's this thing that's very inaccessible. We see, or we say, let's go exercise, maybe that will work. Maybe we'll eat or drink something, that will work. But the real thing behind that is actually the awareness of what's happening in your body, right? So you see all these, I remember there was this time, I think in the 2000s, 2010, whatever, where diets was like a really big thing, right? And that the idea was people wanted to transform their body because of the diet, without really actually noticing what their body actually needs. And so the fun thing is, while many bodies are similar and need the same thing, like water and proper nutrition and stuff like that, there's still minor nuances because of all the kinds of mutations that happen with cells. So our bodies are still slightly different, which is why your gut, for example, whatever nutrition you can process, is also very different. And so it can be very, very helpful to start to become more aware of your body, right? Meaning to notice what is the stuff that your body really likes. And is able to absorb very well, right? And what is the stuff that your body really doesn't like and is really not able to absorb? And so starting to experiment a little bit with what you eat and what you drink and how that affects you can be really good. And the way how you really get more aware of your body is by simply placing your awareness on your body, right? And it sounds a little stupid, but if you really think about it, you can also formalize it in the way of just writing some notes down at the end of every day, where you say, oh, okay, well, how does my body feel at the end of the day? And then while you have those notes, you check, what did I eat today, right? I remember when I was in Malaysia, there was this store that we had on the other side of the office. It was basically it was a nice little Indian shop that was selling food, and they had chicken tikka, right? And most of you guys know already chicken tikka. Even here in Austria, we have chicken tikka masala, as a ready-made food in Lidl supermarket, which is crazy if you ask me. But essentially back then, you know, it would be on the other side of the street. And I thought for the longest time, I thought, ooh, this meal is really giving me a lot of energy. I really thought so, right? And because a friend of mine told me that, he was like, oh yeah, I'm getting all my nutrients. I'm getting my chicken, I'm getting my lemon and my lime, and it's amazing. And I go back and I'm fully energized. And I thought for a long time that that was true for me as well, until I started to listen to my body for a little longer, right? And what I did then is I really went to have lunch again. I got my chicken tikka and I went back into the office, and I started to just pay attention for a few days, even for like 1 week max, but like for just a few days I was starting to pay attention at the end of the day, and I would notice, hey, where's my energy level, right? And when and how does it go? And I noticed that my energy level would always drop a lot. I would always get sleepy after lunch. And some people may say, oh, but that's normal, right? Because your body needs to process this. But if you really think about it, when you eat something, you're supposed to have more energy afterwards, not less, right? And so if you feel actually lethargic after food, there's a good chance that either you ate too much and therefore you needed to expend too much energy on digesting, or that you ate something that your body can't digest very well, and so it needed to actually use more energy than it actually gave you in the end. Right? So it's very important to notice these things. And once I stopped actually eating chicken tikka for lunch, my energy levels were a lot better in the afternoon. So this body awareness is something I would really love to help you experiment with. And so please start the journal if you like to implement this, and use a body awareness journal, and literally just write down at the end of every day, what did I eat and what was my energy level like? You can even chart a little graph of what your energy level looked like throughout the day. And you'll probably stumble upon the one or the other insight of what food to avoid for yourself and what food to actually tune into and have more of that gives you energy. Now, here's the second thing for higher energy. The interesting thing, what we actually often lose our energy on, is when we say some things, but we don't really follow up on our commitments. Has it happened to you where you said, oh, I'm going to totally do this, and then one day later, you don't give a shit about it anymore? Yes, the reason that's problematic is because all the energy you put into the commitment part doesn't translate into any real world outcomes for you. And so your mind starts to create this thing of, oh, so it seems like when I say something, when I commit to something, it doesn't really matter. And so half of my energy is just kind of bloated else into the universe somewhere, and it doesn't matter and nobody cares. And the fun thing is, so many people actually walk around talking about stuff and never actually following up on it, right? Or we say we're going to do something, but we never really do it. And that's partly the reason why the coaching profession is thriving so much, and why I have a lot of work to do. Because oftentimes, well, without proper accountability, we just won't do the stuff, right? And I had this even in my business. It took me a good while to change the way I would do things, right? I would say, oh, I would love to do this in the next 2 weeks. And then I would end up on the call with my coach and I'd be like, I tried, right? But it didn't work. And so only when I changed that, actually my energy shifted as well. When I changed it and I said, okay, well, every time I commit to something and I say, I will do this in the next 2 weeks, oh, this was a guarantee, right? I would literally do it no matter how it feels, because I said so, right? So if I say it already, then might as well do it. Why have a session? I noticed that if I have a session with my coach, then why would I commit to something and then not do it? It would literally, it's like spending a lot of money and not using it, right? On something not using. It's like a bit like missing your flight. Imagine you were on a flight, like cost you $200, and all of a sudden, you just skip the flight. Who does that, right? Nobody does it. But the fun thing is, we often that's a little bit how we expend our energy, right? We say we're going to do something and then we just don't do it. And so, if you have a coach, or even if you don't have a coach, right? This is a little bit how you can transform that energy, where you really say, okay, you know what? Whatever I say, I will do, and whatever I can't commit to, I won't commit to. Right? So you can this way also notice that you won't be saying yes so easily to all kinds of stuff. If there's a commitment behind it, you will first evaluate. You'll say, well, let me think about it. And then if I notice, okay, yes, I want to put energy into this, then you can do it. Okay? And the distinction here we have is don't talk about it, but do it. So try to align what you're saying with what you're doing. And that won't always be easy. But especially if you say, for example, there's an intention you have for the week, you say, well, this week I will do this, right? Then you actually follow through on that. That already creates quite some momentum. So try to make a habit of whatever you say as an intention for the week, you actually follow through on. And last but not least, welcome to our third strategy. So this distinction is called waiting versus designing, right? So sometimes I've caught myself do this sometimes when I'm on the couch and watching something for a long time. I'll be waiting for energy to arrive. And I wonder sometimes, if I just wait a little longer, maybe then the energy will come. And if we're really honest about it, normally it doesn't, right? And so if you've been waiting for the energy to come, then, well, I'm sorry to say, it may not come, right? The way how energy often comes is actually through movement and through action, or through nutrition, or through water, or through consuming something inspiring to some extent, right? But essentially, you're in charge of your own energy, right? So depending on how you design your day, you can also design your energy flow. I have a friend who does this really well. She would always come and she would check in with our energy levels. She would say, "Where's your energy level at?" And I would tell her, "Well, it's like around 70% or so. Like I feel pretty good, but it's like not at the top." And she'd be like, "Oh, cool. Let me give you a coconut smoothie." So it gets to 90%, and it would work, guys. It would work like magic. And so I would love to invite you to also start designing your day according to your energy levels. Notice when they're low, and try to give your body or your mind something to boost it, right? Try to give it something inspiring to boost it. Try to give it something interesting or something refreshing, right? So that your energy levels kind of consistently go higher, and try to design your days in a way where you end up with super high energy throughout the day, and you fall into bed happy and content, right? So try to design your day instead of waiting for energy to arrive. And tell me what kind of design really worked well for you. Put it in the comments so that other people can benefit, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.